On the morning of July 17, 2026, Chinese President Xi Jinping walked onto a stage in Shanghai and said something the entire technology world needed to hear. Artificial intelligence development should not be a solo performance by a single country. It should be a symphony of international cooperation. In the audience were the Secretary General of the United Nations, the leaders of multiple countries, and representatives from nations across Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. That same week, 2 days earlier, Apple, the company behind the iPhone and one of the most valuable companies in the history of the world, received permission to bring its artificial intelligence features to China. But there was a condition nobody expected. The artificial intelligence powering Apple's features in China would not be Apple's own. It would belong to a Chinese company called Alibaba. The world's most valuable technology company could not run its own artificial intelligence in the world's largest smartphone market. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what it means and why it matters to all of us. Most technology conferences are about products, new phones, faster chips, better software. What happened in Shanghai on July 17th was something different. Think of it this way. When countries want to set the rules for international trade, they create organizations like the World Trade Organization. What China did in Shanghai was the same thing, but for artificial intelligence. 29 countries signed the founding agreement of the World Artificial Intelligence Cooperation Organization, a new international body headquartered in Shanghai, created to shape how artificial intelligence is built, shared, and governed across the world. Xi Jinping announced 5,000 training opportunities in artificial intelligence for developing countries over the next 5 years. Cooperation centers across Southeast Asia, the Arab world, Africa, and Latin America. Access to China's artificial intelligence-powered weather warning system for 30 countries. Here is why this matters. For the past 2 years, the organizations shaping global artificial intelligence rules have been led by Western countries: the United Kingdom, the European Union, the United States. China participated, but it was never the one setting the direction. What was announced on July 17th is the first international artificial intelligence organization where China is the founder, the headquarters, and the primary convener. While Xi was announcing a new global organization, Huawei was making a statement of its own, not with words, with hardware. One day before the conference opened, Huawei unveiled something called the Atlas 950. At first glance, it looks unimpressive. Rows of black computer cabinets. Nothing dramatic, just cabinets in a room. But inside those cabinets is one of the most important battles in modern technology. Artificial intelligence is not powered by magic, it is powered by computing. Every time an artificial intelligence system answers a question or helps scientists discover new medicines, billions of calculations happen behind the scenes in fractions of a second. Those calculations need specialized chips designed specifically for artificial intelligence. For years, one American company dominated that market: Nvidia. If artificial intelligence is the engine of the future, Nvidia has been selling the engines. But because of trade restrictions from the United States government, China can no longer import Nvidia's most advanced chips. That left China with two choices: accept dependence or build its own. Huawei chose to build. Its chips are called Ascend processors. The Atlas 950 system connected over 1,000 of these processors together, all working as one machine. Huawei claims the full version delivers 6.7 times the power of Nvidia's equivalent system. Those claims have not been independently tested. At this channel, we separate confirmed facts from company claims. But here is what has been independently confirmed. DeepSeek, the Chinese artificial intelligence company that shocked the world by matching America's best models at a fraction of the cost, confirmed its commercial models run on Huawei's Ascend processors every single day. China's leading artificial intelligence software, running on China's own hardware. Confirmed, in real use. Not just powerful chips, not just powerful models, both working together, without depending on another country's technology. Look at what happened in Shanghai in 48 hours. A new international artificial intelligence organization with 29 member countries. China's own computing system running China's leading artificial intelligence model. And 2 days before all of this, the company that makes the iPhone agreed to run Chinese artificial intelligence inside its own product just to operate in China. Each of these is significant alone. Together they tell one story, and the Apple part is where it becomes personal. Apple Intelligence is the set of artificial intelligence features built into iPhones, iPads, and computers. Tools that summarize emails, rewrite text, create images, and make Siri significantly smarter. In every country where these features operate, they run on Apple's own technology, Apple's own servers, built by Apple's own engineers. Complete control. That is how Apple works. China would be different. When Apple announced these features in September 2024, China was told to wait. Artificial intelligence services in China require government approval first. That process took 22 months. On July 15, 2026, Apple received clearance, but with a condition that changed almost everything. Apple could launch its artificial intelligence in China, but it could not use Apple's artificial intelligence. The features would be powered by Qwen, a model built by Alibaba, China's equivalent of Amazon. Visual search handled by Baidu, China's equivalent of Google. Apple's own servers not used in China at all. A Chinese iPhone user sees Apple's design, Apple's buttons, Apple's interface. But the thinking behind every response comes from Chinese artificial intelligence, not Apple's own. Why would Apple agree? Any company offering artificial intelligence in China must comply with local rules and obtain government authorization. For Apple, the alternative was to delay features indefinitely for hundreds of millions of customers. Apple's China sales grew 28% in the 3 months to June 2026, reaching $20.5 billion. Walking away was not an option. Making it work required a real technical solution. Alibaba's model originally required 54 gigabytes of storage, more than most iPhones hold in total. A startup called Prism ML compressed it to under 4 gigabytes, small enough to run on an iPhone 15. Alibaba's shares rose 3.7% on the day the deal was confirmed. In the United States, members of Congress are considering laws that would restrict American companies from relying on Chinese artificial intelligence. Apple's arrangement sits directly in the middle of that debate. Apple has made no public statement about how it plans to handle it. This is not really about Apple. It is about what Apple has made visible. For decades, technology was remarkably global. A smartphone designed in California, built in China, powered by chips from Taiwan, sold everywhere. Artificial intelligence is beginning to end that. The world may be moving toward two major ecosystems developing in parallel. One built around American companies, American software, and American chips. The other increasingly built on Chinese models, Chinese chips, and Chinese infrastructure. Nvidia stated in a recent filing with American regulators that it was effectively shut out of China's artificial intelligence computing market, and acknowledged that being absent had helped competitors build larger communities of developers and customers that, once formed, are very difficult to displace. That is the deeper significance of DeepSeek running on Huawei's chips. It is not just a technical confirmation. It is a signal that a Chinese artificial intelligence ecosystem, software and hardware working together, is real, growing, and attracting the communities that make ecosystems permanent. An American chip company losing the world's largest artificial intelligence market. An American technology company running Chinese artificial intelligence inside its most important product. A Chinese-led international organization with 29 founding member countries, all in the same week. History rarely announces itself loudly. Big changes usually arrive looking like ordinary news headlines, until years later, when people look back and say, that was the moment things started to shift. Whether Shanghai is one of those moments, only time will tell. But what happened this week matters, not just to technology companies and governments, but to every person whose daily life will be shaped by artificial intelligence in the years ahead. If this gave you a clearer picture of what happened in Shanghai and why it matters, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think artificial intelligence will stay one connected global system, or are separate regional ecosystems already inevitable? If you enjoy documentaries that explain not just what happened, but why it matters, in language anyone can follow, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built on verified facts, plain language, and the bigger picture. We will see you in the next one.